Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Children's Church at Monthalia Methodist Church. We're glad to see you this morning. So the last few weeks, Harper, y'all have been talking about Jesus, how Jesus died and came back to life, right? Mm-hmm. Well, today we're going to go way back in time before many years before Jesus was born. And we're going to a place called Egypt. So I brought a globe, and look, here is Texas where we live, and Egypt is all the way across the ocean over here in Africa. So it's a long way from Texas. And we're going back many years before Jesus was born. Okay? So, at that time, there were many Jewish people living in Egypt. And about that time, there was a new king. And the king looked at all of the Jewish people, and there were so many. There were over 1 million Jewish people. And he got very nervous because he said to himself, if they make an army against me, there's so many of them that their army is going to be stronger than my army. And they would conquer us and have control over our country. And the king didn't like that idea at all. So he said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make them slaves. They're going to be my slaves. Do you know what slaves are? Slaves are people that work very hard for somebody, but they don't get paid any money. They just work and don't get paid any money. So that's what the king did. He made the Jewish people his slaves. And he thought, I'm going to make them work so hard, they won't have time for anything else. Well, guess what? The Jewish people kept having more and more babies. So there were more people. And he thought, there's more and more of them all the time. What am I going to do? If all of these baby boys grow up to be soldiers, their army's going to be stronger than our army. I have to think of a plan. So he thought of a terrible plan. He decided to have his soldiers throw all the baby boys in the Nile River. Now, can little babies swim? What would happen if they got thrown in the river? They would drown. And that was his plan. He wanted to kill all the baby boys so they couldn't grow up and be soldiers. That's a terrible plan, isn't it? So, there was one family, and they had just had a little baby boy. And they loved him so much, and he was so cute. They said, we're going to do everything possible to make sure our little baby doesn't get thrown into the Nile River. So the mama came up with a plan too. She said, I'm going to make a little basket. So there was a family, a Jewish family, and they had just had a baby boy, and they loved him so much that they said, we're not ever going to let anything happen to him. We're not going to let anybody hurt him. So for the first 3 months of his life, they were able to hide him in their house. So what does a little tiny baby sound like when it cries? Yeah, it might have a little kind of a weak sounding cry. So they were able to quiet it for 3 months, and they hid it in the house, and the soldiers couldn't find the little baby boy. But then the baby grew, and then what do you think his cries sounded like?
A big one.
A little bit louder, right? So they said, we can't hide the baby anymore. We have to think of another plan.
Maybe,
So the mama...
Maybe the mama should put him in the closet.
Maybe they put him in the closet to hide him. I don't know. But they had to think of another plan. So the mama, she was very smart. She said, I'm going to make a basket out of some reeds, and I'm going to put tar on the outside of it so no water can get in. And I'm going to make a little boat for my baby, and I'm going to put it in the river, right by the edge of the river where there are plants. So that's what the mama did. She made a basket. Look, here's the basket. All right. Let's wrap the baby up really tight. Put him in the basket. Okay. And then the mama went and put him in the plants by the river. Don't you know that when the water was moving the basket, it just made the baby go right to sleep? Don't you think so? It was like rocking him to sleep. Yeah, so that was cool. So when the mama put the baby in the basket, she told the big sister, Miriam, you go and watch and make sure that nothing happens to the baby. So Miriam was watching, and the king's daughter came to take a bath at the river because they didn't have bathtubs in their houses. They had to take a bath in the river. So she came to the river and she got in and she said, what is that little basket doing there floating in the water? And she opened it up, and what do you think she said?
There's a baby.
There's a baby in that basket. Oh, he's so cute. I want to take him home to the palace to live with me. And I'm going to name him Moses because that means I took him out of the water. That's what Moses means. So Miriam, the sister, came out of the reeds and she asked the princess, would you like me to go find somebody to take care of the baby and feed the baby? And the princess said, that's a great idea. I will even pay that person to take care of the baby. Well, who do you think Miriam asked to take care of baby Moses?
The mom.
The mama, Moses' own mother. So the princess agreed to that, and she paid Moses' mama to take care of her own baby. That's a pretty neat thing that happened, right? So then, when Moses got a little bit bigger and he didn't need his mama so much, the mama took him to the palace to live with the princess and to be her son. So that's the story of baby Moses. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening today to our story about baby Moses.
Wow.
God had a very special plan for baby Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And God has a special plan for you too, and He loves you very much. And we love you very much, and we really hope to see you very, very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay.